Olá, boa noite. Munton here on the silver coast of Portugal. Looking forward to sharing this with you tonight in the company of the GMP wine ninjas. Look, it's BICO AMARELO. Most of us have got red noses rather than yellow beaks. Let's take a look and see if that's true. Alvaro, good evening to you.
Hello, everybody.
It's pretty red to me.
And the Eric J in Lisbon as well. Another big round of applause.
Eric.
Thank you for the invitation.
There's a button that says three-way. I'm not sure I should press it. Oh, that's okay, isn't it? Oh, no, you don't. Let me try this one. No, that's better, isn't it? See you probably on the screen. How are you doing, Alvaro, this evening?
Well, cramped into a nice little kitchen. It was flooded yesterday, but we're okay.
You were flooded yesterday?
Yeah. No, we're paddling in a bit of water. If you listen very hard, you
Get down.
There's a duck in here somewhere.
Right, and you've got your trouser legs rolled up, or is it the wrong meeting for that?
Oh, yeah. I mean, we've got a word for you: deluge.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you want to go into what happened? Was it an internal plumbing matter, or from the outside?
It was biblical.
Biblical rainfall, heading down the back entry through the back door and down the stairs into the kitchen,
like the rivers of Babylon.
Yeah, it was a flood.
Right. Okay. And all sorted now, and you're ready for a drink.
I bloody hope so.
Yeah.
Okay. I think it was your idea as well, Gary, to try this BICO AMARELO.
It was.
Right? Excellent. Okay, great. And you've obviously got it there. It was a deal at Continent, I believe.
It was 5 something. Mine cost, I think, about 5.40 something. I remember serving right.
Wonderful. And Eric J, thank you for joining us live from Lisbon. How are you?
Well, thanks for the invitation. Had a pretty good day today. Spent most of it on the South Bank. Got a little bit of sun, and yeah, it was a great day. And
South Bank, as in what, Fonte de Telia or Caparica?
Yeah, Caparica. Yeah.
Caparica, right? Wonderful. That's life in the capital, isn't it? How wonderful that you can just cross the bridge, the iconic 25 de Abril in the shadow of the Cristo Rey, and go to Caparica. How lovely! And how's Lisbon looking? The weather's better, isn't it? And is it feeling springy there?
Some days yes, some days no.
Right.
This morning the sun was out and shining. Right now it's a bit cloudy as I look out the window, but things are improving.
Excellent.
So
it's really hot at lunchtime here in San Martino de Porto. Too hot, actually. So I was able to complain that it was too hot rather than too wet, which was really nice.
Did you spend too much time in the sun?
As you can see, a little bit overheated, and I think something happens. Did
we put any beetroot out?
Almeida, whatever it is, the gazebo with the PVC sides. I think it just lets pure UV in through the plastic.
Yeah.
Is that what happens?
That's what do it every time. Pure UV.
Yeah.
Oh right. Okay. I'll have to. It's probably safer to sit outside.
Imagine polytunnel. Yeah. That's what you got basically.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right.
Imagining ripening beetroots.
Yeah.
Yes. Is that what's coming to mind when you look at my face?
No, I wouldn't suggest that, would you? I think it was Linda that said that, wasn't it?
I might be on the aloe vera later, and maybe I'll put some on my face as well. Excellent. Wonderful to see you here. Eric, did you manage to get hold of the BICO AMARELO?
What a gun.
We've all got it. Looking forward to this.
It's one of the more expensive wines that I generally buy. So
over €5?
$5.49 a continent today. Yes.
Good to see you. Good to see you, and thank you for getting it. It's really lovely when everybody's got the same brew and we can all talk about it. So if you're watching, maybe you've got it as well. Let us know what you're drinking this evening in the chat. It'd be lovely to know who you are as well. People are quite quiet in the chat so far. Maybe others will join us as well. Alvaro, I think you've missed maybe an eye out of your name there.
I did it very quickly, and I haven't got glasses on, so it's very possible.
People will be even more.
Trying to say he hasn't got glasses there. If he just. He hadn't got glasses.
This is totally good. I haven't even started yet either.
But it's Alvazer, whatever. But it's somewhere in Central.
Actually, that's kind of how they say it around here. They don't really say Alvazer. They say Alvazer. Or was that jazz? That's what sometimes you can get.
Yeah.
Excellent.
There's a lot of drinking goes on around here.
Yeah.
Geography-wise, then, we're heading north, aren't we? Tell us a bit more about this, Garvo, because I have got the website, and you might be able to hear birdsong in the background.
It's lovely, isn't it, the website? It's very peaceful, the website. Very tranquil. Right, there's a little backstory to this. And the last time I had this, I was in Porto, It's a very intimate, small little restaurant with Australian Mark, if you remember meeting him.
Yes, I do. Yes. Yeah.
And we were all sitting around. I think we'd got seafood, a seafood dish. Can't exactly remember what it was, but it was nice. And suddenly, this lady strode out into the middle of the the middle of the room.
Hey!
And she was rude. She strode out into the middle of the room. Will you shut up? Thank you.
Thank you.
You infantile. And she strode out into the middle of the room and started singing fado music, which was really, really, really.
She was very good.
She got some pipes
Very
on her, and she had got some pipes. Let's give the girl a due, and it was great. The evening just went so lovely. The meal was good. Very intimate little restaurant that overlooked the bridge and the river, twinkling lights and all that, and thoroughly enjoyed the meal. So that's the last time I had this one.
Superb. And yeah, it really helps, doesn't it, to have that memory attached to it, I guess, and the vibes. Go on, Terence.
Yeah, I just want to chime in here. Sorry about this. It's inconsequential, but don't you think that was a wonderful performance with the bottle there, Gary rubbing it all the time as his Australian mate?
I'm just wiping the sweat off.
Just replay that, at some point. When
Right.
Sweat.
This is being recorded, and you can watch that replay at your leisure and pleasure later. I didn't actually notice that, but thank you for pointing that out. If you are watching, if you're going to rewatch that, it happened at around 7 minutes.
Well, they are, aren't they? That sort of bottle. I mean, it's in the shape. They're not your normal wine bottles. This is,
it is a beauty.
bottle, isn't it? Yeah. So
The
it's
problem
elegant.
with these is they don't often fit well into the fridge, do they?
No, they don't. They don't.
Or other storage. But this really should be going into the hand. These really should be going and being chilled in the fridge. I'll open my pen.
Where did that all come from?
It's very clever the way you can do that, isn't it?
Isn't it incredible?
Whose arm was that, Carl? It wasn't yours.
No idea. It keeps happening. I look away, or I'm talking to guests, and his hand appears from nowhere. Right. Okay. So you were up in Porto. This you noticed. Did you order it, or was
Yeah,
it?
we ordered it with the meal. I'd never had it before.
Right.
And we just looked at the wine list and kind of pointed to that one. The fact that it's an Esperão, it's relatively good guarantee. It's going to be okay. It's going to be fairly good.
Right. What can you tell us about them? I mean, that's what it looks like where some of their wines are grown. They're an amazing company, aren't they?
They are. I mean, they've won a lot of awards, and they've got vineyards all over the place. I think they've even got one up by Pont de Lima, where I've forgotten the name.
Bob and Viv, yeah.
That's the ones. Bob and Viv. Sorry, Bob and Viv. It's been a long day. They've got some down in the Alentejo, and obviously some there in the Douro region. So they make a lot of different wines. A lot of different colours: red, white, rosé.
Yeah.
And usually very, very nice wines. And you can't. It's one of those badges that you should. Okay, I'll have that. I know that's going to be good.
Yes.
Hello.
The hand is there again. Excellent. Eric, what do you make of Vinho Verde? Were you familiar with it before you came to Portugal?
I was not familiar with it before I came to Portugal.
Awesome.
I've actually had it one time since I've been here. As most people know, I'm a red wine drinker.
Right.
I don't even drink white wine. I drink red wine with everything, every time of the year. Doesn't matter. And generally for me, it needs to be a dry red with a bit of strength to it. So I'm a high ABV kind of a red wine drinker. So
Right.
13, 14 and a half, that's usually right up my street. So this is way different than what I'm accustomed to. So it will be interesting.
This is quite the departure for you then, isn't it? As a seasoned and veteran and preferably red wine drinker.
Yes.
Okay. Amazing. Right. A quick pop in to say I enjoyed Vinho Verde this weekend. It was a nice, hi, Eileen. Great to see you. It was nice and refreshing with, 3290 Fahrenheit temperatures in Florida. What a lovely drink to have when it's hot. Very drinkable. Gets the party started, a bit like the Esperão, the fizz. let's go back to Alvaro. Terence, we haven't heard from you and your view on Vinho Verde. Don't worry, we will get drinking soon.
Well, I've only smelt it at the moment.
Yeah.
And it's very sort of a bit flowery for me. A bit like you got some kind of bull sweet in there. And I've checked, I haven't got a bull sweet in there.
Pear drop.
Pear droppy. Yeah. That's, I always forget pear drops.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I've got pear drops and flowers. I'm sure there's a song in there somewhere. But I'm going to taste it now, live on air, to give you my absolute. So just talk.
You're not naturally a white.
I'm not
drinker.
naturally a white guy. Okay, I'm a bit like Carl, a bit red. But
My pleasure.
This doesn't say it. I haven't been drinking either.
Right.
Now that's a bit different for a Vinho Verde, because I always think Vinho Verde should be a bit more cutting,
A bit sharp.
Not
a bit
necessarily.
sharper.
I'm getting that as well.
That's
This
still
is a
sharp.
surprise.
It has a lovely level of acidity, but it's got a lot of flavour with it as well. It's not just like
I think that's a bit more mellow than your usual Vinho Verde, isn't it?
Also, it depends
so.
how cold you have it. If you want it
Right.
sharper, colder. If you want it more mellow and a bit more fruit and flavour to it, warm it up a bit. It'll come through.
Yeah, I'm missing that at the moment. Mine's well chilled here. And, I'm not getting much of a nose on it at all. And I was really shocked and surprised when I tasted it. I'm expecting something much, even with a bit more gas to it and a bit more sharpness to it. This is like,
It's
it's
very,
quite a surprise.
it's very velvety, I think.
It's
quite smooth.
Yeah, quite smooth. That's the way to put it. For a Vinho Verde, I mean, I'm not a great Vinho Verde fan myself, but this is a very civilized wine. It doesn't feel like it's going to give you indigestion or,
Well, I'm a bit like Eric, really. I prefer red wines.
I do.
Pretty much all the time. If you give me white, red, rosé, I'll always go to the red, because they're always stronger,
But on a boiling hot
a
day,
bit sweeter sometimes.
boiling hot day, by the patio and on the pool there with a bit of salad, maybe
That
a bit of
would be-
rocket in it, or
refreshing.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it?
Clean.
And that would take the edge off the heat. Mind you would drink a lot of this, wouldn't you? You'd probably get a
I
flagon.
think memory serves me right. Me and Mark rather did on that night, but that was a whole different
What
story.
about you and Mark? I tell you.
And the fado in the air. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
This is 11.5%. It doesn't feel strong, does it? And it's not kicking in or anything. Eric, what do you make of it then? I think it's almost like a polar contrast. It's not full-bodied. It's not red, obviously. This is very different to what you normally drink. So what are your first impressions?
See, mine is not very chilled.
Right.
I'll start with that. I find there's a bit of a tanginess to it. You know what I mean? I'm not a very good person when it comes to, did you taste that in it? Did you taste that in it? I don't usually pick up on a whole lot of that. So I can only give you like the feel part, maybe.
Yeah.
But it has a certain tanginess to it that probably, as you chill it more and more, that probably tails off. But that would be my guess.
I'm surprised. I'm really surprised by this. Thank you for that, Eric, as well. And very interesting to hear your views and Terence's. Linda, not heard from you yet, apart from a little bit of commentary on the flavour. But Vinho Verde white is not your go-to, generally speaking, is it?
Not normally, because I find Vinho Verde far too acidic.
Yeah.
But this wine is, for me, very drinkable because it's smooth and it doesn't have that acidic tang to it.
Yes.
So I like it. I could probably drink quite a lot of that.
Can you drink Vinho Verde much?
No, I don't normally have Vinho Verde because it's too sharp.
Too sharp.
Yeah.
I think that's fair.
But this is not. I don't think this is sharp.
I think you've got to have a certain type of palate to enjoy.
Yeah.
Vinho Verde.
What's a good type?
Hey?
What's a good type?
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
Is that what you're hearing?
That's what you said.
Huh?
The really famous one is it Garcia with the nice blue?
That's battery acid. That is pure battery
That's
acid.
awful.
No, don't be like that.
And
This is what
we've both
most
drunk in
start with.
battery acid, haven't we?
Yeah, we have actually.
We can verify this.
It's very.
You've got to
close
go and
battery
get some battery acid, right? Okay. Please don't do that. Don't try this.
Actually, the first white wine that I drank in Portugal was the Garcia wine.
Castle Garcia.
One of the only ones I
Garcia.
tried as well. It's well marketed, isn't it? You
It
see
put
it
me
in
off for quite a long time because it's awful wine, I think.
I had to plug her in and charge her up.
Add a bit of distilled water later on.
No, I mean, if you like a really sharp wine, probably that's your deal. But if you like a wine with a bit more character, and a bit more flavour, and a bit more quality, I think this is your baby.
Yes.
I think that's it. That's it. It's got a little bit of quality, hasn't it?
can
I
Yeah.
don't know whether it
Yeah.
comes from the softness. It's not been as acidic. You don't think of batteries when you drink this.
It's got a dryness to it. It's got
Yes, a
an
sophisticated.
acidity, but it's got a lot of fruit, some sort of flour, and maybe a slight woody feel to it. I don't know, something in
Who
there.
doesn't like a woody feel? Okay.
I'm not getting any wood.
No.
Good evening from Lee McGrady, who's probably not drinking wine tonight.
Lee likes whites. Lee would like this. Lee
Don't
would
be
love this.
surprised.
Okay, all right. I'm happy to be wrong on that. I'm guessing he's on a Super Bock or a Sagresha at this time of the evening. Anyway, let us know what you're quaffing tonight, Lee. That's not a great camera angle. We're losing Terence like that. Okay. Right, excellent. And Eileen's feedback, I found it must be very chilled. Let's go to the specification over at Esperão and find out a bit more about what they're saying about it. Let me take that frame off there and the comment off there and have a little look. Oh, he's on the JP. Ah, JP. Yeah. That's a red, isn't it?
No, there's a white. There's a white.
Yeah, the white.
Rosy and red.
Oh, okay. So JP's a brand with each of the colours.
But thank you. Thank you.
Right, okay, interesting. All right, Lee, cheers to you. So it represents the diversity of the region. That's the Vinho Verde region. Say Esperão about BICO AMARELO, which, if you go to Google Translate, is yellow spout, which isn't the most appetizing name for a wine. Really, it's, as you can see from the blackbird on the label, it's yellow beak, isn't it?
Right.
It represents the diversity of the region, and its main grape varieties are Loureiro, Alvarinho, and Avesso, which is one I haven't heard of so much. The first two you do hear a little bit more about in Vinho Verde. A light, refreshing wine without added sugar or carbonation. So there you go. It is lacking the gas, lacking the acidity, yet rich in aromatic intensity, which I've yet to get. Have you anyone getting more of those nasal notes yet?
Yeah, I've got some sort of green smell in there. I don't know what it is. Almost slightly vegetable kind of issue to it, but
I think when you said pear drops, that nailed it for me.
that's the sweetness. But there's something in there which is very green smelling, but I can't pinpoint what it is.
Okay, are we on the 22? Are all of us on the 2022? Because that's what I managed to find.
I have no idea. I never looked, to be honest.
2023 is what I have.
What we
Okay.
got there?
2023.
23.
Right. Okay.
Still a bit lively then. Who's got the 22?
I've got 22. Yeah, I've got
So
22.
has that got, well, is that very mellow then?
It is. I think it's aged and like calmed down in the bottle. It's really not in any way aggressive, which is completely what I'm expecting from Vinho Verde. Not aggressive, but, edgy and lively.
Isn't Vinho Verde supposed to be like young and fresh and effervescent?
Not necessarily aggressive. It's got to be fresh, clean,
lively,
slightly acidic.
Yeah.
But if maybe yours is just a bit cold.
Do you
Just put
think
your hands
this
around
is
it.
selling out then?
This is
To that mantra.
Here. I'm quite confused by this. I really am, because it's not. It really isn't what I'm expecting.
Yeah.
The spiel over at Esperão's, and I like their strapline, slow forward, harvested by hand. There's a lot of organic ethic going on over at Esperão, isn't there, around the country and their production facilities. They're talking about whole clusters are pneumatically crushed, which sounds pneumatically crushed clusters. Some people pay a lot of money for that. Must cold decanted for 24 hours. Okay. Oh, the must is cold decanted for 24 hours. Okay, that's a little process there where the grape skins are cold decanted for 24 hours. Fermented in stainless steel, temperature controlled vats, 14 to 16 centigrade, aged on the lees, and no added sugar or carbonation. And I think I must have among the oldest at 2022, which I found in the Lavrador Independent supermarket at a mere $4.99. So please
Good find.
of this. Yeah. Okay, we can take that off the screen and say good evening to Pete as well. Diane, hope you're having a better week. Today was lovely up here. There was a definite change in the weather. Was it a lovely sunny day in Central in Alvazra?
Not really.
Yeah, well, no.
No.
In the afternoon it was. It was a bit grim during the first part of the morning, but in the
Right.
afternoon we went
In
out. It was
fact,
quite warm.
in terms of a winter, I can't think of a wetter winter. I thought last year was a wet winter.
pouring this winter.
I don't know what it's doing to the wine production.
Oh,
Apparently,
yeah.
it's good to get the water in the ground early, right? I think, and then to have like a sort of drier summer, which we may have. I don't know.
Hopefully.
Do me an experiment. Just break a bit of that off and just taste a bit with it, because it kind
Break a
of
bit what?
that off.
Oh, I don't know.
It doesn't want
Anyway,
it, love.
you've thrown me now. What was I saying
I'm
about
just
this?
encouraging
About the lot.
Oh, the weather.
We're going to have a lot of water.
We've been swimming for our lives down here.
I'm fed up of it. I must do it. I want some sun.
Well, yes, I did see somebody on one of your Tamar Facebook groups saying, like, will this ever end? And it has been quite depressing. And that was one of the challenges you mentioned, I think, to Portuguese winemaking. The other being the tariffs, of course. So it's going to be a very interesting year for Portuguese winemakers, isn't it, with the weather conditions and the international export situation, particularly, of course, to America. So we shall see what the year is going to be like for Portuguese wines. Your view of this changed at all, Eric?
I'm sorry, I missed the last part.
Has your view changed at all to this as you've been drinking it, or would you just rather be drinking a red, basically?
I would always rather drink a red. I don't think I'm getting the full benefit, I guess, of having this because it's not chilled. Because I saw a comment come by that said this should be very chilled.
Have you got it at room temperature?
Just slightly cooler than that, but yeah. And I am finding a certain tanginess and a certain acidic taste to it. So that may be due to the fact that it is not chilled. So
yeah, I'm sure it benefits from a bit of chilling. This one, as we all do.
I'll give it fair play. Next time I buy a bottle, I'll throw it in the refrigerator for a while because my wife will like this. So
okay, so it is something you'll try again by the sound of it.
I'll give it a go.
Put off. Okay, JK, I'm going to call you just in case somebody is listening whilst you're watching Incognito. Thank you for joining us, JK, this evening with your lovely Corvid picture there on the screen too. Right, so it would appear, as we make our way towards doing a bit of a ranking and a scoring here, that we're ranging from like a nostalgic delight for Gary and happy memories attached to this wine. I'm confused, honestly. I was expecting something very different to this, and a bit of indifference, possibly something maybe your wife would prefer to have, Eric, rather than something you'll return to.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, and I'm not entirely sure, Linda. Linda, you seem to be, I don't know, maybe persuadable around this.
She isn't persuadable. She just elbowed me from another glass. The Linderometer has moved up.
Okay, all right. So it's grown on Linda then.
Yeah, I like it. I said it before that I liked it. I don't normally enjoy Vinho Verde, but this particular wine is not like any other Vinho Verde that I've tried.
Yes, that's what's confusing me. Yeah, okay. So it's maybe changed your perception of Vinho Verdes from the Casal Garcia. And that's something I think a lot of foreigners like when they come to Portugal, is being able to get a young white wine for about €1.50, €2 as a bottle of wine after work or a busy day or something like that. And it just takes the edge off things. But I think prolonged use can lead to acid indigestion. And it's that end of the market we're not entirely happy about, I think, having lived here for a little while. Okay, and we may have moved on tonight with thanks to Esperão and their BICO AMARELO. So should we do a bit of scoring? And let's start with you, Eric, in Lisbon. So how would you rate it out of 5?
It's kind of difficult for me, but because I don't have a lot of things to compare it to. But if you say to me, okay, on a scale of 1 to 5, would you have this again? I would definitely put it at a 4, and I would definitely chill it next time. Yeah. So after that, my score may actually go up. So,
okay.
You know what I'm saying?
All right. And that's nice that you're thinking in terms of somebody who would like it and who you'd serve it to again, rather than the opposite of that. But it sounds like it hasn't changed your general perception and love of red wines. Back to the reds.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you for that score. Let's go from left to right in our visor. Terence, what are you thinking?
Well, being on the right part of your screen, you've thrown me. But left to right.
I beg your pardon.
All right. It's okay.
It doesn't matter. Just
Shut up.
The TV veteran. Yeah, that's right. Stage right, dear.
Right. Vinho Verde, a very unique wine, as I remember. I don't drink much of it because I don't actually really go for it in a big way. So I tend to avoid it. But every time I want something refreshing and effervescent, and you ever get that time where you work hard all day and it's hot and your head's throbbing, and then you buy the pool or whatever, and you think, I could kill for a lager, a cool lager. Yeah. We can say the same thing about a Vinho Verde because it has that kind of like cutting drive to it, which you don't always get with a lot of other drinks. I mean, I'll take what Eric says about reds. I mean, I love a nice, soft, velvety red any day of the week, and it's got a nice warmth. And I take what he says. You can drink it any time. I drink it in the summer. However, there are times when you need something really acidic and kicking to meet those occasions. Now, when I'm drinking this, right, I'm not getting that. Right, I'm feeling that it's a kind of soft version of what should be something acidic and cutting and lively and almost to the point where you can't drink it. I don't get any of that with that. That's very comfortable, very nice, very controlled, very agreeable, Civilized, yeah.
That's a beautiful review. That's a beautiful review.
Thank you. But this is where I'm going to go savage now, right? Because I'm not going to give this a high mark because what I'm expecting from a Vinho Verde is to be challenged in the taste department, right? Is to be sort of, come and have a go if you think you're hard enough to drink me. And this is very quaffable, right? And I take your point. You could drink this all day, but really Vinho Verde to me is something a bit more of a challenge and a bit more Portuguese, really. I don't really find any other wines to compare. So for me, it has a great classification, a great sort of demarcation of being Portuguese.
Yes.
I don't think this wine does it. And it's a lovely wine. And you could drink this all night and all day, and it's very comfortable. But for me and my ideas on Vinho Verde, it isn't one. Yeah. It's something else, right? So I'm going to give it a 2.
Wow. Okay.
Oh, you bastard.
I'm sorry.
What for upsetting you like that? Is that for wrong footing you?
No, I just you come to wine with expectations. Yeah. My expectations weren't met because of the previous stuff that I've drank. And I've drank a lot of stuff in Portugal, all sorts of concoctions. Yeah. So, and it just didn't meet those expectations for me, right?
Yes.
I don't like Vinho Verde. I like this probably more than I like Vinho Verde, which
I get it.
In a kind of bizarre, perverse way means it's not Vinho Verde for me. It's just something else.
Yeah. Okay. And,
sorry.
No, not at all. I think part of what I'm hearing from you is Portuguese wines are quite reliable, aren't they? In as much as you can quite safely pick a genre and or a brand or a name of wine and know what you're getting. This is wrong-footed. Surprised us all.
Yeah. It's throwing me a curveball.
Yes, and we're not used to that in Portugal, are we? We really just don't have that.
No.
Unless we, in the early days when we were in Viseur, that used to happen. But we don't like this level of unpredictability. And I think that might be reflected in the scoring.
You say some good and interesting points there. It's not meeting my expectations.
Yeah.
There's certain occasions when I think you could really down a Vinho Verde, and this doesn't fit those occasions. This kind of what my mental construct of Vinho Verde is, knowing that it's lively, that it's young, that it's fruity.
There's old Karen there who's telling us exactly where I'm going to go next.
What?
Yeah. All right. A young.
I had no expectations for what this would be whatsoever. because I don't think I've ever had a Vinho Verde before. So I have nothing to compare it to begin with. I was just scoring it based on would I, what's the likelihood that I would try this again? That's why I put my score where it was.
Good heavens. Right. Okay.
Which is good. It's valid, right? I'm just telling you the way I think. It just didn't meet my expectations of what a Vinho Verde is to me.
Yep. No, fair enough. And you're marking it on that basis.
I'm marking it on that basis, not the quality of the wine. If you said, look, is that a good quality wine? I'd have to agree with you guys and say, yeah, every day.
Can I have an out of 5 for that then?
Shall we have some?
Oh, I'd say 4.3.
Very interesting. Okay.
In
very good.
that category, it's a good tasting wine.
Right.
And it's soft and it's got a certain amount of richness for a white wine.
Just a 10.
Just so I can make sure.
You know what? If it was, he doesn't mind it that much. Look, if it was a movie, it would be like a great wine with the wrong label, in a way.
Yeah,
and that's how I am with this. I've had to make a bigger
like an action thriller, but it's a rom-com, really.
Yeah, yes, and that is really very disappointing. Well, when you're in a rom-com mood or an action thriller mood, and you get the other, that's not a great start to your viewing, is it? And that's what's happened here tonight, I think, with this. This is just thrown our expectations about Vinho Verde, unless we didn't have any, like Eric, who was coming from an entirely different place. Linda, I see you've just asked for another glass. It has reached Linda, 2, possibly 3 glass.
3 glasses.
3, right.
3. Yes.
I take it you're a fan now.
Yes, I really like this wine. It's because it's got a lovely smooth flavour to it. It's just very drinkable. I like it.
Evidently. Would you like to give it a score out of 5?
4.5.
Oh my goodness! Now, Gary, you brought it with quite high hopes. I think it has fond memories for you. Is it as good as you remember tonight?
Yes, every penny. But you've got to context this, right? I mean, there are so many different Vinho Verdes around made with Alvarinho or Loreno, and some single blends. Now, if you really want to go and try a high quality Vinho Verde, there's one called, I think it's Solero, which is a high quality Vinho Verde. It's probably about 14, around the 14 mark, which you would cringe at for buying a Vinho Verde, really, wouldn't you? But you will find that it will have a remarkable similarity to this, because it will have the bite. It will definitely have the bite, but you will have the smoothness and the quality to go with it.
Yeah,
which echoes in this, which is a lot less than that, really.
Yeah.
So for me, it's a very, very good wine. Probably not as sharp as Solero, but immensely enjoyable, and probably more to my tastes, to be honest, because I don't like to go that sharp. Yeah. So for me, I've got to go for 4.5 at least on that.
And we're not reaching for the Rennies, are we? We're not.
No,
reaching
I mean,
we won't need the Rennies.
My personal sort of thoughts on this: if you had this with something like octopus, or prawns, or lobster, or something like that, it would absolutely sing. Especially with a nice salad with some rocket in it, or something like that. It would really, really, really be a nice wine.
Check you out. Now, I have a Morisco with spaghetti that I've prepared. It's going to go well with that, isn't it? With some coleslaw I've made, with some coriander chopped on the top. This is going to go really nicely with that after the show. Laura S is here. I'm late and can finally make the live chat. Evening all from Bordeaux. Our last night away from Blighty and currently in Bordeaux, which of course claims to be the home of French wine. That's fine, but we've just paid €6 for a glass. We've got a whole bottle for that here tonight.
You can always get a box for that here.
That hurts.
And to Pete, I've had a lot of Vinho Verde wines while I was there, and it was bland to very good, especially when I paid more. Very interesting, but there are so many great red wines at such a good price. Muscatel is my summer drink, and that's why a lot of red wine drinkers wouldn't want to come into this territory and take risks of this kind. Vinho Verdes are young, really challenging. There's variations, and that's what's fun about wine. Absolutely, Nubian, but we're not used to that. Wine is so reliable here that we're not used to being adventurous as you suggest, I think there. Young but rather astringent aftertaste over here. Water with a hint of paint stripper and winderly.
Yeah, Castle Garcia is. I'd say that was Castle
That's a
Garcia.
fairly good description of Castle Garcia.
Pete, I think, has this wine tonight. Are you not a fan of this one tonight, Pete? Let us know in the chat if this is actually what you're drinking. If you're on the BICO Amarelo there from Esperão. Just broadening things a little bit with Esperão, wouldn't it be nice to go there to their production facilities? They really are, like a lot of big Portuguese wine makers, into the eno-tourism, they call it, don't they, or eno-tourism. And if we go to the homepage there, look, these are the sort of vistas and places. Oh, look, there's a Douro there. The Vinho Verde, Quinta do Amarelo, presumably that's where we're having wine from this evening. Beautiful, absolutely beautiful. I will put the website into the chat, and you can go and have a great time with them. They do wines, olive oils. Let's have a quick look at their beers. They've got oh, okay, now I understand. Have we tried these?
No, I didn't know Esperão did beers.
Savina, I have tried these. They're in a lovely little dumpy bottle like that. I didn't realize it was connected with this winemaker. That's interesting. So well done, Esperão, for what you're doing with tourism here in Portugal. And we've enjoyed our conversation about your BICO Amarelo tonight. Gary, you didn't give us a score.
4.5.
Oh, 4.5. Maybe you did. 4.5. Okay. I've been really wrong-footed with this tonight. I was expecting something a lot sharper, livelier. This is a mellow. Maybe it's because it's a 22. It's really calmed down in the bottle. I've had to rewind and run up at it again, and I am looking forward to having this with my marisco. You know those in the deep freeze, you've got that frozen selection of seafoods. I fried those bad boys up with some chopped onions, a bit of coriander, some garlic, a fish stock cube in there, and some tomato sauce, a bit more coriander, and I'm having a big ladle full of that on some spaghetti after we've done here. And I think this is going to go very well with that. I'm thinking 4.25 on this. I want to try it again. That's the interesting thing. I would try this again. And it's one of those great wines where you're thinking, I not only want to try this again myself, but I would like to share it with other people and see what they think. And you know, have that adventure that we sometimes have with these great wines of Portugal, and just give people an experience of that, whether they're a tourist or even a seasoned drinker. I'd love to hear what Frank would think of this, for example, who threatened to join us this evening. But
Frank would say, "You just give me another bucket."
I think he probably would, wouldn't he? And yeah, and then he would criticize my my Marisco recipe and tell me how much better it could be whilst eating the whole thing. Hi, Pete. Better starts of the week. Lunch with Carl and Eric. There you go. Other Carl there. Very nice starts of the week there. How was your lunch, Eric?
Lunch was good. We had originally planned lunch. We originally planned lunch last Monday, but we all know what happened there. Yeah.
We haven't even mentioned that, have we? The news agenda has moved on. We've now got Donald Trump as the Pope. I mean, you know, it's funny, isn't it, how something that in our childhoods we would have been talking about for the next year. Yeah. Yep. It's just like, it's as if it never happened, right?
Yep. No big deal.
No big deal. The whole country lost power. No big deal. We moved on.
Yeah.
We moved on.
No, I tell you what I thought was really amazing was I'm a bit of a cash guy. I believe in cash, you know. Yeah. We have all this like publicity that we've got to go cashless. We're told constantly. Yeah. Right? But if there was ever a case where cash was king, it was in those few hours, because you couldn't buy anything in the shops. Everything electronic had failed. Right. Yeah. So what do? You can buy things with good old cash. Yeah, and I get to the front of the queue every time because I had a wad of cash in my pocket. Call me old-fashioned, but please don't get rid of cash. Fight it.
You're that bloke, aren't you? He's at the front of the line there, the cash till.
He's having trouble there. Must be spreading.
He's got his wad out, and he has his thumb a lick, and he's like peeling off those notes at the front of the queue there from that big roll that he carries around his pocket. It's warm, a warm wad of notes, reassuringly warm.
You know, fantastic. I mean, come on.
But can you not imagine what the other people were thinking? Well, they were hungry and thirsty, watching you peel off the wad.
In a way, it was laughable because
he's got loads of money.
especially with like the younger people, because they are very cashless orientated, you know, and it's a kind of status symbol for them to, like, you know, why are you carrying cash?
They use their phone.
However, where did you get your money from?
Oh, I always carry. I shouldn't say this. I always carry decent money.
Yeah, but when you have to get,
you never know.
When you have to replenish, where do you get it from?
Yeah, but I mean that's in time. But you make sure that you've got cash every day in your pocket. Go out, right? And if you need to make that like purchase, you know, you've got another way of buying. Having these cards, it's just ridiculous.
Well, so you got to get it out the whole.
How many years? I mean, since before Roman times, we've had cash in our society. It's
not like you can walk over to the gold bar.
He was there with his denarii.
With my denarii.
and he deals in the scudos now.
Right, pain in the scudos.
No, you were vindicated. Last Monday, you were vindicated. In all my life, I have never seen an ATM in darkness with a blank screen. I mean, I've seen them out of order, and I've seen them like, you know, now levamentos, but never dark. And seriously, it was really bizarre to see a black screened ATM.
I think it's a good talking point for your program there, Carl. Like, you know, it really is a cashless society what we need and what we want. I fervently believe it is not, and it's another dereliction and another basically purloining of people's rights.
Wow! Now there's a topic for the lock-in.
See, there's a difference between cashless and digital.
Yeah.
Okay. Big difference. So cashless is fine. Digital is not good. So keep that in mind.
Well said. Yeah. Okay. I'm going to put the link in if you want to join us for the after party, such as it is this evening, to talk about that and Eric's distinction there. The link is on the screen. Come and have a drink with us afterwards. There was a great question earlier on. I'm not ignoring you, Greg. I just wanted to keep this question for the last one. It's possibly the theme for the next show. Before I go there, thank you, Denise Duarte, who sounds like she has some Portuguese connections there, maybe part American, part Portuguese. Thank you for becoming a YouTube member. You get priority access to everything we upload every day. And Greg and Amy. Newbie question: is there a list of wine that has been Gumper approved from previous First Monday shows? Probably that's nearly every one of the wines we've tasted, which is well over 100 now. How about next time we each bring our favorite from the last 5 years as a thing?
That's a big question.
Oh yeah,
that's a big ask.
I've got several favourites actually, Carl.
I mean,
I'd bring them all.
If we did that, there'd be three bottles of wine on the table, and that could get nasty.
Why don't you just have your favourite red of all time, your favourite white of all time, and your favourite rosé of all time?
It's easy enough for me.
I think I still would struggle to have just one bottle of each.
Listen to you.
Well, I'll let you sort that out. But I think it's a great theme for next time. Bring your favourite, and we can. I mean, what a great opportunity to invite back Frank, the Doc, possibly. I can't even remember his name because I haven't seen him for so long. Neil Perkins, people who haven't seen for a long time, to come back with their favourites from the last 5 years and see if they'll come and join us. And this is something, a little bit of a change, to sort of resonate with the general Good Morning Portugal changes. This is our wine of the month. So we will choose a wine, and it will be our wine of the month rather than just our wine of this particular Monday evening. And we look forward to you trying it and letting us know what you think in the comments wherever you see it. So wine of the month for May 2025 is BICO AMARELO. We will have a little bit of a departure from that based on Greg's great idea, which is for us our personal Gumper approved wines. I don't think we can come up with one or two, can we? It can't be the main Gumper approved wine, because we've loved them all each in their own way.
They've all been pretty different. They've all been uniquely lovable or dislikable on some occasions.
Yeah, there haven't been many that we haven't.
Yeah, they're a minority.
That would be a great one, though. All the really rubbish wines that we.
I can think of several actually that we've thrown down.
That's another theme. Revisit that wine we hated.
Yeah,
could be.
Yeah, really?
Is that the one that melted the end off the spoon?
There were several that we thrown down the sink, Carl. So I don't know whether, do you just put the bottle there and throw it down the sink?
That night you called the Bomberos to come and collect it. That one. I think our favourites. Bring your personal favourite for June, and it'll be a lovely start to the summer as well. So thank you, Eric in Lisbon tonight. You going to stick around and have a drink after the show?
Yeah, of course. Thank you.
Lee is getting ready to do that as well. He's just sparking up and joining us behind the scenes with his JP and giving me the man cave salute, which you all know behind the scenes. Terence, Linda, Gary, thank you very much as well in Alvazra, and we'll see you again next month. Thank you so much for being here. Take care. Bye.
Really ripper of a wine.